Hello, it's good to have you back here on a brand new episode of When in Vietnam. In this week's edition, let's meet a French architect passionate about sustainable design that adapts to Vietnamese weather. And leaving the frantic lifestyle of the big city behind, we head to the countryside to meet an American YouTuber who lives like a true Vietnamese farmer. Later in Local Buzz, we'll learn more about emerging Vietnamese architectural practices promoting the eco-friendly agenda and sustainable development. But first, let's meet our host, Mika Chu.
Everyone, xin chào tất cả mọi người. I am Mika Chu. I am a namesake content creator in Ho Chi Minh City. I am Russian French, and my life took a drastic turning point the day I decided to learn Tiếng Việt. Indeed, it helped me to understand better about the culture, the people, and simply enjoy better the Vietnamese food. And can you believe it? I've been living here for more than 6 years. During my time here, I have witnessed a lot of changes. And if there is one thing that I learned from the COVID-19 pandemic, is that Ho Chi Minh City has the strength to overcome all obstacles to become even more attractive than before. If you're looking for fun and excitement, this is the right place to be. In this series of When in Vietnam, you are going to discover what the city has to offer. So let's go.
The global sustainable movement has put the environment at the heart of building, remodeling, and design. In the architecture industry, the response has been the growth of green architecture. Green architecture is an approach that favors pro-environment, eco-friendly, and sustainable buildings. In addition, sustainable architects attempt to choose environmentally friendly materials and renewable energy sources.
An architecture which is built and designed by people who respect the community around any project, who respect the existing site. We try to preserve the beauty of Vietnam if we are in Vietnam.
Hiện tại kiến trúc xanh ở Việt Nam cũng đang rất là phát triển, và cái phát triển mà mình thấy hay nhất là ở trong cái suy nghĩ của khách hàng, của các cái người mà làm công trình. Tức là họ có nghĩ tới về cái bền vững lâu dài nữa, chứ không có nghĩ tới cái chuyện về chỉ riêng về lợi nhuận không.
During the years of breakneck development in Vietnam's sprawling metropolises, urbanization needs became the first priority. And today, Mika can learn more about emerging architecture practices promoting eco-friendly and sustainable development. But first, let's meet with Charles Gallivarden, co-founder of T3 Architects, who is passionate about sustainable design.
Bonjour Charles, good to see you here in this beautiful space. Thank you for welcoming us. Can you tell us a little bit more, what's the difference between sustainable and standard architecture?
How to explain this easily? Let's say sustainable architecture first is an architecture which is made according to a certain climatic conditions. So we design according to the climate. We try to promote the local product and materials to make sure the architecture is really fitting well in the landscape. It looks more integrated. It's also an architecture which is built and designed by people who respect the community around, who respect the existing site. We try to preserve the beauty of Vietnam if we are in Vietnam.
And I can see that at T3 Architects, not only you bring your knowledge, but like you said, you guys try to take the best out of Vietnam, to respect the weather, the nature. How do you succeed to adapt yourself so easily and highlight the best of Vietnam?
So this is what we call the bioclimatic design. Wherever you are in the world, finally, you have some climate. When you know this principle, you just study carefully the climate, the wind, the sun, the view, and then you find how to make it well for a certain site and project.
Sustainability, creativity, know-how, and wellness. These are the four fundamentals that T3 Architects focus on as an international design team specializing in sustainable architecture and contemporary interior design. A key difference between T3 Architects and other design firms is that it prioritizes sustainability and preservation by using natural or low-carbon materials and ensures good indoor air quality.
We are in Vietnam, we should feel the Vietnamese identity. So in every country, in every city, in every small village or countryside, we study carefully what is around, an inspiration for us, and then we pick some elements and we introduce in a contemporary architecture.
Can you give us some examples in Vietnam, for example?
We are designing now a resort in Sapa, in North Vietnam. There is an interior design style which is bohemian chic. Mm-hmm. So being in Sapa, we know there is many ethnic minorities around. So we get the idea to bring the minority chic interior design mood.
And what's the difference between the projects you have like in the north, middle and south of Vietnam?
So again, climatic, which is different. So we don't make the same building in Sapa or in Mekong Delta. In South Vietnam, the main thing is to make sure you are well insulated. Your roof is well insulated to keep the thermal comfort decent by reducing AC, air conditioning use.
In a busy city like Ho Chi Minh City, the need to improve employee well-being and happiness has been put on point. Located in District 2, Dreamplex is a good green vibe office where 4 buildings connected by an indoor street are naturally ventilated to bring nature inside the working spaces. Its design limits the use of industrial materials, chemicals, and plastic to improve interior air quality as much as possible.
Với tòa nhà này thì là mình giảm được 30% năng lượng sử dụng hàng tháng. Hơn nữa là hội viên của Dreamplex ở đây cũng rất là thích các không gian mở và thoáng mát như thế này. Vì với cái xu hướng phát triển bền vững như hiện nay thì sẽ có thể thấy là xung quanh các tòa nhà thì đều được ốp tre để giảm những cái khí nóng hay là cũng làm giúp mát mẻ hơn cho mọi người ở bên trong. Và các vật liệu sử dụng ngay tại Dreamplex cũng là những cái vật liệu thân thiện với môi trường.
Wow, that's very impressive, and at the same time very interesting to see how finally how much we have around us to create something more natural and more eco-friendly.
Exactly.
Charles, I was wondering, you've been in Vietnam for 11 years, and I can see that since that time you did a lot of different projects. And what is the most challenging and at the same time interesting project you ever had?
What is very interesting, I would say, in Vietnam, this is the diversity of projects you can get. If we are really reasonable to preserve our planet livable in the future, we should stop building too much and we should renovate the existing. How to preserve the existing structure already there? By doing a renovation project, usually you save 10 times carbon emissions than a new construction. You try to preserve the existing and give the building a new life.
It's very original and
very
local
exactly.
and respectful to the environment, right?
So that's the future of architecture.
I was wondering, do you have any advice for future French or international architects that would like to come and live in Vietnam?
Today, to be honest, most of the architects coming from abroad in Southeast Asia, it's because there is a huge market, construction market. And as an architect, we have a social responsibility, exactly, to advise our clients to preserve the beauty of any places. and be respectful of the community. You know, you cannot arrive on the coastline and destroy villages of fishermen to build a huge hotel. So that's why we should be able to refuse when we consider the project is not socially acceptable or environmentally acceptable. So I hope there is more and more architects coming from abroad in Asia to bring this approach. And of course there is already several nice Vietnamese offices having this approach also. But it's quite new, it's still a niche market.
What's the definition of a successful architect?
Successful architect is an architect who can wake up the morning and say, okay, I'm doing something meaningful for the country where I live. I'm doing buildings where people will feel good when they will use it, as respectful as possible of the existing landscape, which is usually beautiful in Vietnam.
Well, you seem pretty successful to me according to your own definition. So I would like to thank you so much, Charles, for giving us these insights, for sharing with us your thoughts on this field. I wish you a lot of success. Merci beaucoup and have a wonderful day.
Merci.
Thank you.
Shabu sang, everybody. I am at my new house. I know you guys are probably wondering, Dustin, you're chewy. It's okay. I planted between 35 and 40 individual trees at my last house. This is the front of the house. Chào mọi người. My name is Dustin. I know, very exciting name. In Vietnam, people may call me Dutin. If you're in the north of Vietnam, I go by Zutin. Or for simplicity, you can call me Tin. That's usually how I go by in Vietnam. So, about me. From California, been living in Vietnam for a very long time, pushing 8 years. Yes, 8 years. And I can't even describe to you how fast the time has gone. I do have a YouTube channel. Xin chào. Chào buổi sáng. Good morning, you guys. Chào buổi sáng. Good morning, guys. I do enjoy outdoors in Vietnam and also cooking. Questionably, I might be one of the top chefs and most sanitary chefs in Vietnam. I don't know if people will debate that, but if you see my YouTube channel, I think you guys would probably agree with that. Dang quá. Không được. Không sao. But yeah, I like arm wrestling too. You know, Bak Thai, Vietnam. If you don't know anything about arm wrestling, you come to Vietnam and you like strength sports, I highly encourage you guys to get involved with arm wrestling. The biggest things for me achieving, I just think of outdoor stuff immediately and being able to catch snakes and some big eels. Where'd it go? All right, I didn't catch this one. Squee takes credit. Oh, damn. Vietnam compared to California is significantly different when it comes to water. Is where I'm from, Southern California, that has very little rain. And Vietnam as a whole has so much more rain and just canals and flooded areas. So there's been so many types of ways people are capable of catching fish. The boat? Yeah, the boat. Okay. So big. Joy. It's been an eye-opening experience, and for me to be able to see how people live and how they catch things like this is probably the most interesting aspect to it. Whoa! So, I've never done this before, but Supsik's favorite thing in the world is to catch rat. Alright, Supsik got it. She still wants it. Hiểu không? Khi nào chú nói tiếng Anh, con hiểu không? Con hiểu. Yeah, come here. Around my house, some people know me and they're used to it, so they're not very surprised. But I would say it's always funny. Sometimes I'm wearing like my yep đỏ áo or some sort of like small Vietnamese shorts with my nan la. It's funny and they find it curious. I'm always proud of myself if I catch something and then I'll be like, oh, like maybe it's an old man, like, Joy, like, hey, come here. It's like, look at my eel, look at this. And he's like, yeah, I like, the foreigner, he's really good at catching stuff. I've never had anything negative. It's always been like positive or just people being really curious and I think funny, mostly for them. Ăn đi. Không ăn. Tại sao? No.
Chưa chín.
Ngon.
Chưa chín.
Leave a comment, subscribe, and for you guys, as always. Huh?
Comment.
Comment. Yeah, đúng rồi. Comment. Yeah. Like I remember the first time going to like Hải Phòng or like Ha Long Bay, all the islands. It's like I've never seen anything like this in my life. I love the ethnic minorities, like, and how they live. Their culture, their outfits, and even just the way that they're gardening or having their farms or growing plants, like on these mountains. That's something that I still love. And then the south of the Vietnam, you know, some areas with the huge open rice fields, I like that green color. I don't know how to describe my favorite color, but it's that green of the rice when it's like, this is really green. Don't know how to describe it, you just have to take my word on it. It's so beautiful. So I think everywhere you can find some sort of meaning and enjoyment, regardless if it's countryside or city life.
Hey Dustin, so great to see you today.
I know, long time no see.
Congratulations, I've just seen your latest video. You have a new house.
Thank you.
How's that going for you?
So far so good. I'm still kind of moving in and organizing and cleaning stuff. My dog.
Sausage dog, right?
Yes, her name's Supsik.
Supsik?
Yes. So, I know, it's a great name for that type of dog.
I was wondering, why have you chosen Vietnam and why are you still here after 8 years?
Okay, why I came to Vietnam is a very long story.
Make it short.
Okay, make it short. I originally came to Vietnam in my early 20s because I used to do bicycle touring. I rode a bicycle from Vietnam to Cambodia, to Thailand, to Laos, and then I circled back through Vietnam. But rode the Ho Chi Minh City, flew back home to California. 3 years later, I finished university. I was doing some medical work and I'm bored. I finished my job on the East Coast of America, flew to Vietnam, and then I was a volunteer in the hospital in Nha Trang for about 3 months.
Wow, from hospital to Nha Trang to YouTuber to MC to model, and now I know you live in the countryside. Yeah. After all these adventures, why have you chosen countryside?
The countryside as a whole, I enjoy the peaceful atmosphere, like more spacious, it's cleaner, it's a simple lifestyle. The city can be great, it just depends on your interest, but the slower pace of life and some of my personal activities, I like countryside a bit more.
And what have you learned from this lifestyle?
I guess you could say, like, you know, when you're challenging yourself, getting out of your comfort zone, you do appreciate other things. So I don't really see a lot of like negative stuff, like no hot water. I think it's quite normal. South of Vietnam, you don't need that. No AC, sometimes it's uncomfortable, or like taking a shower with a bucket, like just sitting in a squat. But you just get used to it. Like it doesn't faze me. Like
and it's a choice. You choose to live like that. Choice. Dustin, important question.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself as a countryman?
I consider myself somebody who enjoys the countryside lifestyle and likes the things, but for me to really consider myself like a legit Vietnamese countryside guy, I would need better Vietnamese, and then also like my animal and farming trapping skills and gardening, I would have to improve. That was not so nice, but we try again. Better. Still not that great. I'm really failing today. Oh, trời ơi, we caught a little baby cá lóc. Có cá rô phi, cá lóc, and cá sạc. Cá lóc nhỏ. Và có cá rô phi đây. Anh muốn ăn không? Không ăn? Ok.
Dustin, what would you say to potentially future tourists that would like to come in Vietnam?
Vietnam has everything to offer. Because, south of Vietnam compared to the north, you have the mountains, the beaches, flatlands, the Mekong Delta. Lots and lots to offer, but especially right now after COVID, the prices of hotels and resorts, you can find great deals. If you're an adventurous person, has that. You like city, nightlife, it has that. You want food, definitely has that. You can fly from wherever and then arrive in Vietnam in somewhat of a short notice.
Dustin, you've been traveling and shooting a lot of shows in Hanoi, but finally you're here in Ho Chi Minh City. Why Ho Chi Minh City over Hanoi?
There is a lot more happening I see in Ho Chi Minh. But for nightlife and then even like food, the few times that I am up late, like I've noticed Ho Chi Minh this stuff's a lot more accessible late at night.
Dustin, according to you, what does Vietnam and Ho Chi Minh City has to offer to expats?
I'm from California, and say if I were to meet friends, I have to drive a very far distance just to get like coffee with friends. But everybody's busy, so I just can't meet friends spontaneously. In Vietnam, people be like, Dustin, let's get coffee. I'm like, when? Right now. I was like, okay. Lifestyle is more relaxed. For work opportunities, I think Ho Chi Minh does have a lot to offer. Fitness and health has grown a lot in Vietnam. It's becoming really big. I think people could find something, because I know you speak very good Vietnamese and you like the entertainment industry and you do a lot with that.
That's true. Vietnam has a lot to offer. I think it has to offer everything. Whatever you look for, you can find it here. Thank you, Dustin, so much
for
coming here today in
you
see environment we find especially for you.
Yes.
So you don't feel too much, disturbed by the city vibes.
Yeah. And then later, if you guys want to do an interview at my house, we can cook some rats.
So, wow,
yeah, we'll catch some rats.
Lovely.
And then,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this great opportunity. And the
Yeah.
bananas. Don't forget the bananas.
I should have brought some. I should have.
Next time, lasagna.
Okay.
Lasagna.
Okay.
Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, no problem, Nika. Thank you.
Recently, more and more architectural designs in Vietnam have broken away from tradition to focus on an eco-responsible agenda and green urban planning. The following is a roundup of Vietnamese emerging architecture practices promoting the eco-friendly agenda and sustainable development. The Bo Mon project was among the most talked about designs in recent years. Based in a mountainous district in Sun La province, the 237 square meter campus serves almost 70 students and one teacher from 3 nearby Hmong ethnic group villages. The soft shape of the roof creates a shady area that transitions slowly from the wall to the floor as the sun changes its course. The impact is a connection between architecture and its natural context, sitting among the seemingly infinite mountains and hills where cloud and mist blend in the highland afternoon. Meanwhile, a 50-foot-tall woven roof made almost entirely from sustainable bamboo crowns, a restaurant designed by Vietnamese architect Vo Chung Nia. The space below the column is naturally cross-ventilated and cooled by the evaporation of water from the adjacent lake. The restaurant won the Hotel and Leisure category at the World Architecture Festival in 2021. The construction materials were prepared using a traditional Vietnamese building method, soaking in mud and then smoking. And that wraps up this edition of When in Vietnam. We hope you enjoyed this green journey and found inspiration to adopt a greener lifestyle that embraces sustainability and makes real differences for the planet and people. When in Vietnam, we'll be back with more stories on the cultural scene. Thank you and goodbye for now.
My name is Dustin Chevier. I'm a California guy that's been living in Vietnam for a very long time at this point. This is I don't know how to introduce myself. What do you want to say?
I don't want to leave. I mean, I want to leave here. I don't want to leave the place. It's very nice. It's very friendly, very beautiful. And I forgot what else I want to ask because it's so beautiful.